Messing up isn't the enemy, it's information. Ever wondered why your plans flop harder than a fish out of water? Ever felt like your life is just one epic fail after another? Stick around as we dive into those epic flops, into genius game plans that even your cat would be proud of. Welcome. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Most personal growth content treats failure like a dirty word, something to fear, hide, or explain away. I want to flip that. Messing up isn't proof that you're broken. It's information, and the people who actually reach their goals aren't the ones who never trip. They're the ones who get good at figuring out why they tripped so they don't do it again. Now, here's the trap. Some people turn a setback into a permanent label. I'm just not a disciplined person. I always quit things, instead of treating it as one bad week. One is a life sentence, the other is a Tuesday. Now, Einstein reportedly said, a person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Fair enough. But I'd add a person who makes the same mistake 5 times never actually learned anything. That's the real skill here, being fearless, but noticing the lessons and not paying for it twice. Whether the goal is getting in shape, saving money, switching careers, or finally learning that guitar gathering dust in the corner. Why this feels harder than it used to be. Setbacks used to be quieter. You could flop at something and quietly try again without an audience. Now, thanks to everyone posting their highlight reel online, setbacks feel louder than they actually are. Your cousin posts her fitness transformation the exact week you've skipped the gym 3 times, and suddenly it feels like the whole internet is judging your Tuesday. It isn't. Nobody's paying that much attention to you. They're too busy worrying about their own highlight reel. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to push you towards being smart about your plan instead of just white knuckling it on willpower alone. The goal isn't never miss a day, it's fewer wild, unsustainable swings and more steady ones. Don't blow your whole effort in just one reckless week. Pace yourself like you're managing a budget, not sprinting a 100-meter dash. Fear less, and people tend to respect that. But don't confuse recklessness with courage. Announcing that you'll run a marathon in 6 weeks with zero training, it's a great way to meet a physical therapist. Most people never even start towards their goals, and they'll dress that up as wisdom when it's really just fear wearing a nice outfit. Steal the blooper reel, not just the highlight reel. We've built a whole industry around asking successful people, how did you do it? Respectfully, that question is overrated. Everyone's success story starts sounding the same after a while. Work hard, stay consistent, believe in yourself, cue the inspirational music. Great, riveting. The question is this: what went wrong and what did they actually change afterwards? Someone smart learns from their own mistakes, and someone smarter borrows other people's mistakes and skips the expensive lesson entirely. Next time a friend tells you their New Year's resolution fizzled out by February, don't just nod along. Ask them why. That's a free lesson, and it's more useful than another highlight reel on your feed. So here's your homework. Starting today, whenever a plan doesn't go the way you wanted, skip the workouts, blown budget, a habit that didn't stick, run it through 3 questions. Why did it happen? What could have gone differently? And how will you handle it next time? Why, what, how? Write it down. Say it out loud in the car if that's your thing. This is the whole trick to turning a setback into a forward motion instead of the same rerun every February. A couple of my own reruns. Now, I'll go first. I used to be scared of not following through on things because I worried people would use it against me. Mess up, and that's, well, of course, do well, and it's just expected. No credit either way. That pressure pushed me to chase big, flashy goals right out of the gate instead of smaller, steady wins that would have actually built my confidence and my track record. I was trying to sprint before I could comfortably walk, then wondering why I kept face planting. The lesson wasn't stop being ambitious, it was match the size of the goal to where you actually are right now and build up from there. Let's work backwards before we commit. Try this exercise with me. Write down a goal you actually want, a number on a scale, a savings amount, a new job title, whatever. Whatever made it looks like for you. Then work backwards. Does the plan you're currently on even get you there mathematically? If your goal needs 1,000 miles and your current habits only get you 400 before you run out of steam, it doesn't matter how pumped you feel on day one. You're not getting there with that plan. That's not a personal failure. That's a math problem. Fix the plan before you blame yourself for not being disciplined enough. Finish one thing before you chase the next. There's a difference between fine tuning something and actually getting it running in the first place. A lot of people want to overhaul 5 parts of their life at once: fitness, money, relationships, career, hobbies before they've even fully committed to even one. You end up with 5 half-finished efforts instead of one real win. That looks great on a vision board and does absolutely nothing for your actual life. Go deep on one goal before you go wide across 5. Take an honest look at your people. This one's simple. Notice who cheers you on and who quietly talks you out of things. The friend who orders you a milkshake just this once every single week you're trying to eat better. The family member who rolls their eyes every time you mention your side project. You don't have to cut anyone out dramatically. Please don't stage a big confrontation because of this video. But noticing this pattern matters because who you spend time with shapes what you believe is possible for you. Being loyal to people who are actively pulling you the wrong direction isn't loyalty, it's just drift. And sometimes the kindest thing that you can do for yourself is spend a little more time around people who are also chasing something. Small tweaks, not total overhauls. Now, a lot of setbacks come from swinging too hard in the wrong direction. A goal isn't working, so the instinct is scrap the whole plan and start completely over. When really what is needed was a small tweak. Move your alarm 15 minutes earlier instead of rebuilding your entire morning. Change one thing at a time. Change 5 things at once, and you'll never know which one actually worked. And on that note, done beats perfect. Waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect gym, the perfect spreadsheet before you start just means you start late or never. Begin messy. Let the plan get smarter as you go. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a nicer outfit. Here's the different flavors of screwing up. Not every stumble is the same, and you know which kind you're dealing with helps you fix the actual problem instead of just feeling bad in general. You knew better. Some part of you already knew. You knew skipping sleep before a big day was just a bad call. You knew just one more episode wasn't going to help you wake up early. This one stings because it's on you. But if you own it honestly, you're way less likely to repeat it. People who blame everything else just keep living the same story with a different excuse. You zoned out. This happens once routine sets in and you stop paying attention, right when it matters most. Usually the exact week your motivation dips, staying a little on guard, expecting it to work, but watching for warning signs. Keep this one at bay. You didn't have the skill yet. Sometimes the goal needed something you haven't learned yet. Budgeting, cooking, public speaking, whatever. Not a character flaw. A gap. Fix is practice, a class, a mentor, or a good tutorial video at 11 p.m. Not beating yourself up. You had no system, no repeatable routine, so nothing sticks. This usually isn't about willpower, it's about setup. Meal prepping once a week beats deciding to eat healthy, fresh every single day through sheer force of will. Build the system once and stop relitigating it daily. You never finished. Started with a ton of enthusiasm, no real deadline, and it quietly died around week 3. Goals without a target date turn into daydreams. Rough rule of thumb. People who follow through on small, steady improvements, even just 5 or 6 a month, tend to get a lot further than people who chase one huge overhaul and finish none of it. Finishing small things builds real momentum. You overplan. Sometimes the opposite hits. An elaborate tracker, a color-coded planner, 10 apps, and somehow zero actual progress. All planning, no doing. Check in occasionally. Is this actually helping, or am I just organizing my procrastination? You were vague. If you're fuzzy on what success even looks like, motivation quietly leaks out because there's nothing solid to aim at. Get healthier is vague. Walk 20 minutes, 4 days a week is something you can actually hit or miss. None of these mean you're a failure. They just tell you where to point the fix. A skill gap needs practice. No system needs a routine. Zoning out needs a different wake up call. Different problems, different fixes. Ask why, not just how. Most people get stuck asking, how do I get motivated? How do I stick with this? And how do I find the time? That kind of thinking is exhausting because it's all mechanics. Try asking why instead. Why does this actually matter to you? Why will future you be glad present you did this? A clear, honest reason does more for you than another productivity app ever will. So slow the climb towards confidence. There's a rough sequence most people move through with any new goal. First, you're just new at it, shaky, a little embarrassed, figuring it out. First day at the gym, first budget spreadsheet, first guitar lesson. Then you get decent at it through repeated reps. Then, eventually, confident. And confidence is what actually closes the gap between trying and succeeding because self doubt trips people up more than lack of skill does. And after that, you start helping others do the thing you learned. And eventually, the habit just becomes part of who you are. You can't skip to the end, and that's fine. Nobody gets to, this is just who I am now, without first surviving a few genuinely awkward beginning days. We've all been there. Some of us are still there with one specific gym machine, but we still don't understand. Second half of this video turns all of this into an actual plan for hitting your goals. So here's the second half. Thinking a few steps ahead. Strategy gets a bad rep because people confuse it with a vision board. Some collage of a beach house and the abs that says, this is my future. That's not a strategy. That's a mood board. A real plan is quieter and more useful. It's how you respond to a real obstacle on purpose, with the setback already anticipated, instead of winging it and then being shocked when week 3 gets hard. Every solid plan for a goal has 3 parts. The target, which clearly naming what you're actually going for, not get healthier, but lose 15 pounds by June through diet and 3 workouts a week specifically. The approach, the general method you'll use to get there, and the daily action, the actual unglamorous stuff you do every day. Without this part, the first 2 are just a nice conversation that you've had with yourself once, probably on January 1st. It reportedly takes around 90 days of doing something consistently for it to become a real habit. So plan for the long haul, not the opening sprint, and get honest with yourself about why you're setting a rule. Because I'm supposed to motivates nobody, whether the rule's about bedtime or budgeting. Having a plan versus thinking like a planner. These sound the same, but aren't. A plan is actual steps that get you to your goal. Thinking like a planner is the ongoing habit of asking, how could this be a little easier, a little smarter, a little more doable, even after the plan is already working? Setting a goal is easy. Anyone can do that on January 1st. Actually refining that plan on February 15th, when your motivation has quietly left the room, is the harder skill. Get real feedback, not a pat on the back. Now here's a trap. When people ask friends for advice on a goal, you're often fishing for agreement, not the truth. Does this diet plan sound reasonable? Usually means, please tell me that this is fine. If you want a plan that actually holds up, ask someone you trust to be honest, a coach, a mentor, a friend who won't just tell you what you want to hear. The goal isn't to be told you're right. It's to end up with the best plan, even if this means hearing this timeline's not realistic. Now, instead of finding out the hard way, 3 months in, read the room before you push. Before a big ask, negotiating a raise, asking your boss for flexibility to chase a goal, asking someone for support, be honest about the situation you're actually in. What do you have going on for you? What does this other person need out of this? Charging in on pure principle without reading the room is a great way to lose and feel smug about it afterwards. Here's also worth remembering. Some situations and some people just aren't fully predictable, no matter how well you plan. Everyone's got a plan until things get harder than expected. Give yourself a little slack for the unexpected. Don't lose the main thread. Big goals usually come with more than one nice to have wrapped inside them, but there's almost always one main target. Know what it is before you start. So a shiny distraction A new goal, a tempting shortcut, a new hobby doesn't quietly pull your energy off the thing you actually set out to do. Picture the finish line first. Picture the results you actually want before you start, then work backwards. This isn't just daydreaming, it's a way to spot problems before you hit them. So when motivation dips or life gets in the way, it's a yep, saw that coming instead of a full blown derailment. Do a few things 1,000 times, not 1,000 things once. Staying focused beats sheer motivation most days. Now, it's tempting to add new habits constantly, a new supplement, a new app, a new morning routine you saw at 1 a.m. But changing it too much at once dilutes all of it. Pick a few key habits. Do those really well. Resist the shiny new idea for now. Rehearse the hard moments. Weddings get a rehearsal. Personal goals? Weirdly don't. We just wing the hard parts. The dessert table, the awkward conversation, the first day back after falling off track. Then act surprised when we're caught flat footed. Picture the hard moment ahead of time and decide now how you'll handle it. Nobody ever regretted being prepared. Judge the result, not just the effort. It's easy to mix up I'm trying really hard with this is actually working. Judge your approach by the real outcome it's producing and be willing to change the plan even if it feels like giving up on the effort you already put in. Results tell the truth. Everything else is a story you're telling yourself. Actually listen to blunt feedback. Now, the people who make the most progress are the ones who can hear this part isn't working without spiraling into I'm bad at everything. That's a skill, and you can build it. It doesn't mean taking cruelty. It means staying curious instead of defensive when someone, or the scale, or the bank account, or the calendar points at a weak spot. The alternative is staying comfortably stuck for a long time. Trust your gut, but only after the groundwork. Overthinking everything and you'll research yourself into never starting. Go purely on feelings and you'll quit the second it's inconvenient. The sweet spot is a fast, informed gut call. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Built on top of the groundwork above, not instead of it. The stages every goal moves through, whether it's a fitness goal, a career change, a creative project, or a savings target, progress tends to move through recognizable stages, and each one comes with its own predictable rough patch. Knowing which stage you're in stops you from mistaking a normal rough patch for proof you're failing. Getting started. Small, motivated, figuring it out as you go. The trap. Trying to do everything perfectly from day one instead of just building the basic habit first. Finding your footing. Momentum builds, the plan starts feeling real. The trap. Refusing to adjust the plan even when new information says you should. Building a rhythm. You focus on what's actually working and drop what isn't. The trap. Getting bored and chasing a shiny new goal before you finish this one. Leveling up. You add more, a second habit, a bigger target, a new skill. The trap. Over organizing. So many rules and trackers that you bury the simple momentum that got you here. Bringing others along. You start helping others, maybe leading a group or your household through the same goal. The trap, the other people's timelines and doubts creeping into your own. It's just who you are now. The habit runs without needing constant willpower. The trap, a weird letdown, is the goal stops being the exciting main event and just becomes normal life. And that can feel strangely anticlimactic. Now, every stage has its own bump in the road. That's not a sign something's wrong. It's a sign that you're actually moving. The fix at every stage is the same. Check in on what's working every so often, add what's missing, and simplify what's gotten overcomplicated. Now, before you close this out, you're probably not going to absorb this all in one go, and that's fine. This isn't a go through once and transform instantly kind of thing. It's more like a gym membership than a magic pill. Go back through it, pick one area, sit with it for 10 minutes, and run the why, what, how question on a goal that stalled out on you recently. Messing up isn't a character flaw. It's an honest, occasionally annoying teacher, and now you've got a cheaper way to learn from it. Someone else's blooper reel and a plan for reading your own a little faster next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.